Hey queens, welcome back to the other side of my office and the same old makeup and outfit as last time. I'm filming in the same day because I don't have time to film on separate days and have different makeup for everything. So you're just gonna have to deal with glitter tears again. Okay, so right now I am surrounded by all of my eyeshadow palettes. For this video, I am going to be going through my eyeshadow collection. Yay! I have like almost 50 eyeshadow palettes. I think when I last counted, which was last week, it was 48, and I don't have a new palette yet. So I'm at an outstanding 48 for eyeshadow palettes. That's kind of crazy. That's definitely more than any one person needs. So let's just start going through all these because this might be a little lengthy. All of these palettes are my Jeffree Star palettes, an indie brand palette, and a Butter London palette. These are all the palettes that I want to pan in 2021, so I'm not going to go into detail about them because all of these palettes have their own kind of like separate video, and I will keep updating you throughout the year on these, so I'm not going to go into detail on those. I also have 4 new palettes that I will be doing reviews on, so I'm not going to go into detail about them now because I'm going to have a whole separate video for those as well. So part of these palettes we're not even going to talk about. So yeah. First, let's talk about these guys. These are the Profusion 20th Anniversary Glitter Palettes. One is the Gold palette, the other one is the Rose Gold palette. I bought these because I like pressed glitters more than loose glitters. They're just easier for me to work with. So yeah, and unfortunately, they both have some of the same glitters. I'll show you. Sorry, I might like blind you with the mirrors here, but in the left middle on this palette and the top middle in this palette, they both have the glitter Stardust. And I didn't realize that they both had, I don't know why they do, like you couldn't come up with one more glitter, seriously. But I'm pretty sure these were like really cheap. I don't think I paid a pretty penny for them, and I've used them quite a bit. I've used majority of the shades. I just need to remember to keep using them. They're really nice. I like using them, and yeah, I'm really happy that I have these in my collection because I have a variety of, I would say 18, but 2 of them are the same. So I have a variety of 17 glitters that I can use, which is really nice because when I first started like out in makeup, I wanted glitters, but it was hard to get like a nice array of them, and so this kind of just helped me out with that. Now this is my chunk of Colourpop palettes. I'm talking about 6 of them today. I think I have like 3 other ones in my new palettes. Needless to say, I really like Colourpop's formula. I think it's really nice and it's super affordable. On the top here, I have the Frozen 2 Elsa palette. The Anna one was very pretty as well, but I already have shades like that. But I didn't have a palette that quite looked like this. This palette is stunning. It has a chunky glitter here in the middle, which doesn't bother me. Let's talk about this shade and this shade. These shades are both shimmers. This is like a duochrome. It's like a red base with a blue shift. And this is a pure silver. And they are so pretty. I love those 2 shades. That silver is everything. I need to create a look that displays that silver. I really do. Then I have the Honey palette, which is another 9-pan palette. The only problem with the packaging on this is that, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like chipping away and it just looks weird. It's the only thing I don't like about this palette. But this palette is so pretty. I wish there was more depth to it. Like I wish it had like more of a mid-tone yellowy brown sort of situation. But yeah, this is so stunning. Let me swatch. This gold, like how beautiful. Like that's so crazy. And then, as you saw in my last video, is the Hello Kitty Colourpop palette. I'm not going to swatch this one because I just did swatches of it, and you already know that this one kind of missed the mark for me. Like, the packaging was super cute, but they kind of missed it in terms of color story. They didn't put that deep red in there, and you see this blue throughout the packaging, and it's not in here as well. So, just kind of disappointing, but it's a pretty palette, it's cute, it has Hello Kitty in it. Hello Kitty is always in my background in my videos, except for this one, because I just don't have everything set up in here. But if you've been here for a while, you probably cued in on the fact that I really love Hello Kitty. Oh, this one, the At Forest Sight Raw Beauty Christy palette. As you already know, I am in love with this palette. It is absolutely stunning. That gold, everything. It is so beautiful, and I love these shades down here. They're so nice. She did awesome. Then we have the Sailor Moon palette. Packaging, again, A1. They have some of the best packaging. And then this is the inside. This one also kind of missed the mark. It's very light, which I guess makes sense if they're trying to hit like the kind of shades that you would see in an Asian eyeshadow palette. Yeah, it just, I don't know. It wasn't the best color story that they ever came out with, but I mean, that's okay. I still love this palette. It's really nice. There's just no depth to it. And also this palette, even though it was called the Sailor Moon palette or the Sailor Moon collection, it really only centered around Usagi as a normal high school girl. And then they also put Luna in there, but I don't know. I kind of I think it would be really smart if they came out with the Sailor Guardian collection, like that's what they called it, and then there were different things centered around the different Sailor Guardians. That would just be smart. Not that Colourpop's ever gonna watch this video, but Colourpop, if you do somehow make a Sailor Guardian collection, just do it. And then give me like a good chunk of money for the idea. I'm just saying, it would be super smart. And the last Colourpop palette that I'm going to talk about is the Hocus Pocus palette. This palette is amazing. Again, top-notch packaging. The inside is this nice, like, grungy kind of palette. I could have done without these, like, cool tone shades. They would have just went with that. I think it would have been really nice. But it's still very pretty. There's definitely way too many of the mattes that have flecks of glitter in it. Should have just made them mattes. But yeah, it's a very beautiful palette. I really enjoyed using this. I would love to pull it out again. Love to. Next is a series of palettes that I'm kind of upset that I have now. I will probably try to pan these next. These are the Lunar Skies Cosmetics Moon Collection eyeshadow palettes. Let's just get into the palettes and then we'll talk about the brand, okay? First we have Amethyst Moon. It is a very like a bluish purple pink kind of situation. It's very pretty. I think the purple shimmers in here are very like different to other shimmers that I have. I don't have a lot of purple shimmers, so those are very nice. The mattes are okay. I really do need to use these more. I think I've only used them once, which is not okay. Then there's the Cobalt Moon palette, which is a blue eyeshadow palette. I really liked this. I Had a really nice look that came from it, and I really hope to use it again soon because I really enjoyed this. My favorite out of this collection is the Flower Moon palette. It's a very orange, yellowy situation, has this nice gold glitter in it. Very beautiful palette. I like using this one. And then last is probably my least favorite, which is the Emerald Moon. These four like green situation, like they're so similar and they're definitely not my tones of green. I don't know, I kind of just need to work with it more to see how I feel about it. But yeah, they are no longer a makeup brand. They now sell crystals exclusively. Their last palette was the Happier Cake palette, and I pre-ordered it and it took super long. So long, in fact, that I have moved since then, and every time I've contacted them about it, they haven't answered me back. And I think they started shipping out, but I don't think I'll be getting mine because it'll be going to my old address. So that's kind of upsetting. This is not the only indie brand that I was burned by this past year. Like, I would love to purchase from indie brands, but I've been burned a couple times, so that's fun. And then I have two BH palettes. The first one is this BH Opalescent palette, which I have bought from a friend. She wasn't using it anymore and she just needed some extra money, so I was like, hey, I'll buy that one. I really like this palette. Definitely need to use it more because I've used it probably 2 or 3 times. But yeah, it's a very pretty palette. It's got a lot of warm nude situations, some cooler nudes, some purples. And I need to get into it more. I do like BH's formula though. I think it's really nice and it's definitely affordable. And then I have the Take Me Back to Brazil palette. This is a nice palette as well. The purples and the blues are kind of iffy, but blues and purples are hard to formulate anyways, and I don't use these 3 bottom shades, but as you can see, I have 2 pans, which makes me so happy. That means I've gotten quite a bit of use out of this palette. However, I would like to use it even more because there's just a lot of shadow in here, and I need to work through them. I've had this palette for quite a while and it's probably reaching its breaking point sometime in the near future. I have 2 Ace Beauté palettes. They both came in one of my BoxyCharms. The smaller one is the Grandiose palette, which is just more of a pinky rose gold sort of situation. And I really love this palette. It's really nice. The shimmers are intense. Like, they are so nice. Let's watch them actually. Oh. I have glitter on my hand still, but those are 2 of the 4 shimmers, right? No. There's 3 shimmers in here. But anyways, they are so nice. I love those. Then I have the Vintage Dawn palette, which is this warm tone kind of palette with a pop of blue in it. That icy blue is so nice, and I like this light pale yellow as well. And I think the mattes are just they're okay. You can definitely make do with them. I don't think I would purchase this palette again because the mattes just aren't my favorite formula. This deep brown just doesn't really do it. I kind of have to dip in a different brown to get what I want. But yeah, I just kind of need to fill it out some more and decide whether or not I want to keep it in my collection because, again, the mattes in this one just aren't my favorite. I have 3 Morphe palettes. I have the 15H Happy Hour, which I got in a BoxyCharm, and it's this warm, reddish, peachy sort of situation, and I clearly really love this palette. I have dips in quite a few of the shades. I enjoy it a lot. It's really nice. Oh, that is really dry. Okay, and then swatch this shade and this shade. So, gosh, I love this palette. The color story is just so nice, so good. Then I have the two Jacqueline Hill palettes. The packaging for this one is definitely a lot better, but this one is my favorite formula-wise. This is the original formula that they came out with. Without telling consumers, they did change their formula. This palette is no longer vegan. So yeah, and I don't know exactly what that means, but Morphe just tends to get shadier and shadier by the day. So that's fun. But I really love this palette. This palette is so nice. Obviously, I have used it quite a bit. I have 4 pans in this palette. I used this palette for my wedding day. That's how much I love this palette. Like, it's just so good. It's something I know will work for me. It's just unfortunate that they changed the formula and Morphe's kind of just not a trustworthy brand. And then the Volume 2 palette is different in that it has more bright colors. It has bright purples and bright pinks and orange and yellow. Whereas this one I feel like is more muted and warm at this, I don't know, it's very earthy in that one, whereas this one, I feel like it's just trying to be a more brighter version. I did really enjoy this palette. I've only used it a handful of times, so definitely need to try it out some more. I also have 3 Urban Decay palettes. I first have this Urban Decay Naked Petite Heat palette, which is just all mattes that are from the bigger version. I have that as well. I would like to get more use out of this just so I can get it out of my collection. This palette kind of has a sore spot in my heart and collection for reasons that I'm not going to discuss, but yeah, it's just a palette that I really want to get some use out of and then push on out of my collection. Then I have the Naked Heat Full palette, the original. My aunt bought this for me and I'm so glad that she did. Warm tones are definitely my thing and she knows it. Oh, gosh, this palette is so nice. I like the formula of the Naked palettes, but I'm not a big fan of the cooler tones because I just don't do cool tone browns. It's not for me. But this one is definitely for me. I really love this palette. And then I purchased the Naked Cherry myself. It's very pretty. I had been wanting this one for a very long time, and my mom sent me a screenshot of QVC like selling it for half the price, and she's like, this palette is so pretty, and I was like, do you want it? And she's like, yeah, but don't go and buy it for me. And I was like, too late, I just bought you and myself one. You're welcome. And she's like, oh my god. So yeah, me and my mom both have this palette. I'm so happy that I was able to purchase it for us. I know I just made her day, and Mom, I know you're watching this at some point. I don't know if you'll watch it on time or not, but I love you. You're the best. Then I have 2 Violet Voss palettes, which I got both in BoxyCharm. This one is the Essentials palette. I really like this palette. Okay. Green eyeshadows are my thing. I love green eyeshadows. And this emerald green, excuse me? I love doing a smoky eye with this palette and then adding this. So good. I love this palette. It's really nice. I love Violet Voss formula. I also have the Violet Voss Holy Grail Pro palette. I like this. It's got some neutral browns, some berries, orange, It's very, very pretty. The shimmers are stunning and the mattes work pretty well. They're not the best on the market, but they do just fine. But yeah, I really love this palette. I use this orange quite often, but I just love orange. I just love orange. Then I have my Lime Crime palettes, which I only have two. I have the Venus Extra Small Vixen. I love their packaging. It is so beautiful. They use like art from way back in the day. I can't remember what this era is called, but it is definitely my favorite era of art, and it's a shame that I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry. I haven't been in art history class in ages, but it's also super sparkly. Like, baby pink is my favorite color. It's super sparkly. It has some of my favorite art on their packaging. Like, how can I not be attracted to these? And this is the inside. It is very beautiful. It has this nice like pink based duochrome with blue situation. And yeah, I like this palette a lot. Then I have the Lime Crime Prelude Chroma. Also has some nice art on it. They were very nice and covered her dignity here. Oh, Cupid's dignity as well. Very, very, very nice. Very classy Lime Crime. Very classy. It doesn't have sparkles on, which is kind of sad, but hey, whatever. And then this is the inside. I felt like this palette was so unique to anything else that I have. This deep purple is so stunning. I love this like aqua green blue situation. And the shimmers are just, I'm gonna swatch them all because they're just so cool. So here's the blue shimmer. It's got like green in it. And then this is the white one. It's like a duochrome with green. This is the light blue one. It's more of like a lid topper. And then this is the gold. And this is the like coppery purpley situation. Very, very pretty. Love this palette so much. And then I have a lot of palettes that I don't have like many from the brand, so I'm just gonna run through these. This is my Natasha Denona Peak palette. I just talked about this in my November Boxy Charm, I believe. And I'm so happy to have my first Natasha Denona palette. Like, this is so pretty. I love this. This is definitely shades that I like go for. And this shimmer is absolutely stunning. I love this palette. Then I have the Mimi Multi-Cube in All About Peach, I think is what it's called. I don't know, I can't read Korean. But this palette is so cute. I use this in my Yes Style video. This is just a really nice peachy tone sort of situation. Very much like light, nothing crazy, nothing super pigmented. But I also love that it has this peachy blush in there. I love this blush. It's absolutely adorable. It's my favorite kind of shade of blush. Right up my alley. I love that I have this palette. Then I have the Bite Size Eyeshadow Hot Jalapeno from e.l.f. Green eyeshadows. My bread and butter since I was in high school. I love green eyeshadow. And this gold, oh, let me just show. Look, so nice. The shimmers are definitely the star of the show in this palette. The mattes are kind of like meh. You really have to work with them, but this palette is only like $3, so I think it does really well for the price. Then I have my Pure X Raw Beauty Christy palette. I love this palette. So on the holographic side, you have your colors, and then on the rose gold side, you have the neutrals. And this palette is so good. It's versatile. It is everything that she dreamed it to be. And the formula, this is like the best formula that Pure has come out with. Like, this will probably be the only palette I ever get from them because I had another one and it was like booty. So I am covered in eyeshadow. So yeah, I think they are gonna continue to restock this until people stop buying it. So definitely keep your eyes out for this palette because it is worth it. And then I have the Zoeva Premier palette. I got this in BoxyCharm. It's very nice. It's got a green in it, so you know I love it. I think the formula is pretty decent. It has a lot of shimmers in it, which I think it's a little off balance in that way, but it still is a very beautiful palette and I would love to use it more. I really need to. This palette has a super sore spot in my collection. This is a Kylie Valentine's Day palette. I don't remember what year it was, but this is the inside. It's very beautiful. I love this palette. I've enjoyed using it, but I would like to get a lot more use out of it so then eventually I can just throw it out. So at the time that I bought this palette, I was super into like pastels. I'm not as into them, but at the time I was super into them. I was super into everything kawaii, which I still kind of am, but I was especially into unicorns and impulsively bought the Too Faced Lysa Festival palette at TJ Maxx. This palette is just not the best, but I can't seem to get rid of it. I like it enough to keep it. I need to use it. I need to use it. Maybe I will here in the future. Next I have the Nomad by Juvias, and I got this because it has these like grungy greens. It's not my favorite formula. I felt like these were kind of like patchy. I just need to work with it more. I've used it only like a couple of times, so I just need to continue giving it a go. This palette. This is my Tom Ford Nude Dip palette that I was gifted by from Influencer, which I am grateful for. I also dropped it, so this shade on the left is like trying to pop out, but I only like 2 shades in this palette, which are the top 2 shades. I'm probably gonna use them as highlighters and then not use those bottom 2 shades. This was just not good. And it really just shows you that a lot of cheaper brands are more worth it than these high-end luxury brands. So, sorry Tom Ford, but you're not my fave. And then the last palette that I have here is the Jungle Lights palette from Flower Beauty. I had wanted this for a long time, and then for my birthday I purchased it. I really was into this green and red situation. When I got it, the purple had like busted, but that's okay. I really didn't care about that shade. Let me swatch. Like, these are absolutely incredible shades. I'm so happy I have it. I think it's definitely worth the money. It's more like a one swipe situation, or if you want to add it, oh my gosh, there is a cat hair on my mouth. You can always add it to like any look that you do. It really just amps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It might be a little lengthy, I'm not 100% sure, and I'm just like talking about eyeshadows. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up because it would help a girl out a lot. It sure would, so please do it. Anyways, y'all have a good one now. Bye!